Unscripted. Tonight's episode is a special one at best. We are going to talk about men's mental health since June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And we have a special guest co-host with us tonight. He is pretty much awesome, and he knows a lot about men's mental health as well as a bunch of other awesome things. And he's a male, so that also helps with his perspective on the whole thing as well. And he is Gumball, which you may or may not know from TikTok or everywhere else because he's quite well known. Tonight's positive affirmation is the best shit happens when you step out of your comfort zone, which is very fitting because this still technically is very much outside my comfort zone.
Oh, so, 100%.
Without further ado.
Did you freeze?
No. She froze.
I heard without further ado. And then it was just kind of like, well, there's no further ado because there's no ado of her. So, hey guys, thanks for having me on the podcast. I appreciate it. Jen said I am Gumball Head. She said a lot of nice things too. Thank you. I identify with most of them, but no, you're absolutely right. June is Men's Mental Health Month, and it's pretty wild and crazy because a lot of times people think, "Oh, men are depressed" and stuff like that. But I think a lot of times it just is an opportunity to bring the awareness to the fact that even the strongest structure crumbles over time and under stress, and it kind of reminds each other to give each other the opportunity to kind of be there for one another, support one another. And especially when it comes to guys, we've got pride, we got ego. We don't do that very often. We don't say, "Hey man, I had a rough day." But on the other side of things, we do have those tactics, and those tactics oftentimes are not shared with our significant others, or we don't realize that we provide those tactics to ourselves because it doesn't make sense to us. That's actually what we're doing. I'll just give a quick example because I don't want to take up too much of the time on your intro. But video games, huge example right there. A lot of guys, especially me, I just changed my gamer tag after 16 years the other day because I let go of all the stuff that's tied to all my old video gaming and changed my gaming tag. It's kind of like a woman changing her last name. So that is mental health related as well, especially when it comes to guys. So there are a lot of ways to cope and a lot of ways to get through things, and a lot of people don't realize that. It's just a matter of they're focused on one way and it's the only way. And guys sometimes forget who they are. So we're here to change that stigma.
So, I guess, do you care if I ask you a question, Gumball, since you are very knowledgeable on men's mental health?
No, I'd love that. That's fine.
Okay. So, when it comes to men's mental health, and you're talking about men being supportive of other men, it's like, I kind of envision it in a way like women being supportive of other women instead of tearing them down. They just have two different ways of going about it because men's mentality is different than women's. What, I guess, from a woman's perspective, what is a good way for a woman to be like, "Hey, I notice you're struggling. I notice there's some things going on." Like, let's say there's a man that doesn't like talking about his feelings. How do you introduce that to a man to get him to want to open and talk about it? Not necessarily where it has to be like a therapist or a psychiatrist or anything like that, but let's say, in general. How do you create that comfort level to where they can talk about it, and then you can form, a plan. They can form a plan of what they need to do to help themselves.
There are a lot of ways that you can approach that. Now, I imagine that you're probably approaching it as a significant other or a loved family member with that mindset. A lot of times when it comes to men, they need personal space and they just don't know how to verbalize it. And that comes in the form of attitude, because nobody wants to be around a grump. So instead of, but the thing is we're not doing it because we want to be grumpy. We just want to be left alone. And it's like, okay, we're on a tangent mentally and you're interrupting it. I think one of the big communicators, my wife does this a lot. I see that you're having a difficult time right now. And you're working through some stuff. If you want to talk about it later, let me know. Just remind them, hey, I'm here to support you. It's just like you guys do with each other. If someone says, hey, just remember, I'm here to listen to you. The downside to that is a lot of times when it comes to men, and I'm learning this more as I get older and more as I do, research and things that I unlock in my brain is it's not so much, I don't want to talk to my partner. I don't want to talk to my significant other. A lot of times it's, I don't want you to hear what's up there or what I'm going through because you might not identify with it because you're not that age or you haven't gone through that and that's where meetings come in. That's where interactivity with counselors comes in. That's when therapists come in. It just depends on what level that person's on and what your relationship with that person is because they're going to allow a certain level of comfort in. If it's a significant other, good, devout relationship that's dedicated, encouraged in a marriage and children involved, you have life invested into it, there should not be any boundaries. You could still have that, protective coating like on an M&M, but they still melt, right?
Right.
Whereas when it comes to sharing that information with people that are not in your daily life, you have to be cautious. Because now you're opening yourself up to injury, you're opening yourself up to pain and hurt and deceit and dishonesty because word travels fast. So if you're approaching it in a loving way, just let them know that you got the support for them. And if they feel like that it's something that they need to talk about, just make them realize we can talk about this. I'm speaking this saying that if my wife were to approach me and say, hey, how do I get through to you when you're having a tough time? A lot of times all we need is just some time to figure out what we're going through. And I say that in the nice terms. And, and in the time of heat, you may hear things along the lines of just leave me alone or I want to be left alone or just be quiet. There's a lot of noise. And I don't think that it's just men. I think that it's anybody that puts in a majority of the effort in a household because it works a lot with women too. And, if you're a woman and you're working full time and the husband isn't working full time, same thing, you get that same worry. But the older we get too, the things change. And we spend so much time learning one way to deal with our issues and deal with our mental health in one way. We don't want to learn how to change in a different way. We don't leave ourselves open to changing things. So a lot of people that are older and have dealt with mental health issues for a long time, they're not going to be initially open to that change. So perseverance and that support and just understanding is key.
It's very helpful because I know
that was a shot, by the way.
Oh, okay.
No, that was an abrupt ending. That's a mic drop, but
it's okay. It's okay.
You're perfectly
I'm giggling about it.
Oh man, I was itching my nose. But it's helpful because I know for me personally, my husband struggles with a lot of it because he was raised in a household that depression was not for those who follow God. Depression was not for anybody who was not clinically ill. And men just went to work. They took care of the family, came home, and if they had a problem outside of that, then they were weak. So he was raised in a household that was very much toxic and very much not supportive for his mental clarity. And we we work a lot. Him and I work constantly on his both of our issues, not just his issues, but like on both of us. And he still struggles to open up. But I found for me personally, just me being there and letting him know that he can either tell me what's going on, even if I don't understand it. He gets to verbally say what's going on, or just me being there overall is helpful to him. But I always wondered if that was enough, if there's more I could be doing, because my brain, I know there is for me. Like I needed more for me, but it's nice hearing from a guy's perspective that it's sometimes all that they need.
Is there more you could be doing? I mean, of course, there's more you could be doing. As far as what you could be doing, I don't know, because I don't know what you're doing already. Supporting is one of the biggest things. As we grow as men, and you saying that's exactly why Men's Mental Health Month exists. Is you said they grew up knowing that mental health, mental issues, depression was for people that were sick, or they were not for the strong-minded, and that mindset is great. Is a great identifier, but realistically, the way I look at this is if you're driving and your car runs out of gas, you're stranded until you put gas in the car, right? If you're driving and your car runs out of gas and there's an electrical failure too, well, is your car's electrical failure due to running out of gas, or is you running out of gas due to the electrical failure, or are they individual of themselves? So the reason why I put it in that perspective is, yeah, you could be the replacing of the gas. That might be what he needs. He might be missing that electrical issue. He might be missing both issues. He might not be able to diagnose it at all. When you see persistent attitude changes, a persistent lifestyle change over a period of 2 weeks-ish, that's when I tell people, hey, you know what? You might want to go see a professional. You might want to call your best friend. But just asking, your partner, hey, is there anything I can do for you right now? Because if you think about it, when we lose our temper, or when we have a mental breakdown, or when we have a moment where we just feel depressed, or when we have a moment where the world sucks, or when we have a fucking blissful moment, when we have a blissful moment, all of those things are not exactly in that moment, because a lot of those things trigger a memory that are identified with that. So if you have and it works with you too, it works with everybody. If you have a moment of like, man, this sucks, it's because something sucked that was relatable to that in the past. When we face that suck, when we embrace that suck, we know it's going to suck going into it. It's just we don't know how bad it's going to suck till we come out of it. But if it's something that you need to change in your life, we have to embrace the suck. And if you're in it as a family and as a couple, then do it together. If that means counseling together, if that means therapy together, if that means going out and going for a walk around the block, or joining a gym, or doing karate, or any of those things, if that's what it's going to take, then that's what it's going to take. Now, for the people that are individualized, social media is not the way to do it. I don't like social media. And you guys know that, my background as an addictions counselor, social media is one of the biggest addictions that I deal with on a regular basis. So a lot of times it's the age demographic between 8 and 13. I don't like working in that age demographic because they don't listen to me either, but the parents do.
I'm glad.
And the parents understand that hard love, and honestly, the addiction aspect of things, I deal with more non-tangible addictions like video games or technology. Video games shines through a lot. I've never heard anybody say I listen to too much music, but I have spent 17 hours on a song, Right. But anything that can hinder your day-to-day life, or hinder those people that are part of your day-to-day life, can be considered an addiction. It can be. It just depends on the way that you look at it. Now, whether it's a controlled addiction or a addiction in progress, whatever, it's just the determinate person that is actually affected by the addiction in the initial place. When it comes to mental health, though, there are so many other things that are piled on top of that you don't know what the core root of that problem is. until you investigate the root of that problem. So if you had a bad day today, it might have been because you had a bad day 10 days ago and you didn't have the opportunity to vent about it. You know what I mean? So it might not just be today. You might have just like left hair in the shower and it made me mad today because of something that happened on the call. You know, or I found it in my hamburger on my lunch 2 days ago and I had hit my hand with a thumb or hit my thumb with a hammer. You know, just those types of things. So as far as, is there anything that you can do more? No, just be there to support him and let him know that if there is more, that he can ask for it or that he can trust his partner to know that he'll say that, verbalize it. Sometimes it's just time. That's it.
But I also think there's healthy ways to go about it instead of, like you were talking, the unhealthy ways. But I also think there are unhealthy ways where addiction can come into play, which another form of addiction to me is alcohol. You get into that mindset, or even some drugs. I think a lot of people, I don't want to say it's easy way out. I don't want to say that. It's just easier sometimes to get to instead of dealing with the problem itself. That's what I would consider a gateway. It's another door, and you're just pushing it down, and you're like, it'll go away eventually. I like suppressing it. You're not having to deal with it. It's trauma, it's issues, whatever it is, and those items of whichever you choose as addiction, because addiction come in many forms in different ways. Some can be good and some can be bad. And I think
all addiction is good.
Why do you say that?
I bet you never thought you'd hear me say that.
No. So please.
All addiction is good.
Why is
Because it's an opportunity to educate.
But what if you're not educated by it?
Well, then are you affected by that addiction? It's not necessarily the audience, it's the information. So when we talk about, like, you realize before COVID, for me to say to somebody technology is an addiction, they'd have looked at me like, you know, I had grown a third ear. But after coming through the pandemic and taking away a tablet from a 2-year-old watching them throw a fit, I can easily prove that technology is definitely a tangible addiction.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at these behaviors that we have every day, and I'm going to explain this because I actually used this example in a lecture the other day. I'm the type of person that I know what fingernail I'm going to bite first. If I change that pattern up, I know it's because I'm working on something or because I'm on a thought process, okay? Just fingernails, and it's gross. It's a disgusting habit, and I don't care. That is my habit because it's not a pipe. It's not a bottle. Because I learned my lessons from the pipe and the bottle. In the pipe and the bottle, I can teach people those things that affect your day-to-day life that are a result of that. I didn't know that pornography was an addiction until I got a client that was addicted to pornography. I did not know that not just eating pica, I know about pica, pica's huge, but not just eating, but there are different plastic textures that people seek, that there are Reddit pages dedicated to. I found that with a particular client of mine, not trying to go too deep into it, but they sought out this particular Reddit page so that they could find the plastic that they make the stickers on sun-kissed oranges with, so that they could buy a roll of 1,000 of those and they could chew on them all day. Now, here's the thing, though. She's not smoked a cigarette in 10 years. She's not done a drug in almost 15. But she goes through 1,000 stickers a month, or whatever it is. But she goes through a roll. I think she said last year she went through 3 rolls. I can't remember if she said it was 1,000 stickers or 10,000 stickers. But regardless, she's not drugged. She's not on drugs. She's not doing all those other things. I had another client a while back.
One for another.
Well, yeah, but which one is healthier?
Yeah,
I mean,
I get that.
when people quit smoking, they tell you to do what? Chew gum, right?
Yeah, or suck on mints.
Yeah, and then guess what?
I
You
do that
create an addiction to
regardless.
those mints. You know, my mouth can't handle that. That's like it's like I did a huge walk down because I had gotten back up to 1 can a day on my chewing tobacco. So I did a huge walk down, and I started doing okay. Got 5 cans, I got 10 days. I got 3 cans, I got 5 days. I got 2 cans, I got 5 days. I got 1 can, I got 7 days. See what I did there? So I reverse stacked it. Moderation management. Again, another opportunity for people to educate themselves on that. You might be a 10 gram a day user. Let's get you down to 8. Let's get you down to 6.
I've
Because
noticed
10
that.
grams a day of anything, I don't care what it is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and any of those things.
Right.
Unless
I
it's
was talking
gold.
with a friend. Oh yeah, I was talking to a friend, and she had made mention that um, about somebody in her life that was using again, and we were just chatting about it because like I know I'm not anything to do with addictions or any sort of counselor in that area. I grew up with my parents both in NA and AA, so like I just grew up around that lifestyle. So we were talking about it, and I had made mention that I don't always see people because a lot of times I see people react negatively towards addictions or people of that, and don't give them the chance or the patience that they need to prove that they're not the same person or whatever. But I've seen it that, and that was the case for this gentleman too. But like, I was telling her that I believe that even when you do things of whether it's drugs, alcohol, or anything like that, you can still be a good person. You can still do it and still be an active role in people's life. Listen, I'm not saying it's acceptable or whatever, but I'm just saying there are like I smoke weed. I think I'm a good mom. And, I drink, and I think I'm a good mom because it's in moderation. It's not. I don't allow it to get to that point. So in moderation, everything in moderation is decently well. It's just knowing the difference between the slippery slope.
But I also think it depends on the person too, because
Well,
And the degree of what they're doing, but I'm just saying.
and in all fairness too, if you ladies think about it, and this is where that big check comes in and that big holy crap comes in. When it comes to finances, in our household, um, the finances are discussed, but it's a pretty much one and done. Okay, why? Well, it's just behavioral past. Okay, we all have behavioral past. We all have things that we dealt with in the past. But something that I heard you say is, but stop saying, but you don't have to justify your behaviors because they don't bother anybody else. And if they bother them, then either you really do have a problem or they don't understand that you're working through one. Okay. That's one of those big things. And that's what I've been working a lot with is this angle on give yourself permission. Stop catering to everybody else. Because here's the thing. You're locked into this mental prison, and I'm not trying to get philosophical. I'm just trying to explain things the way that Gumball sees things. And it makes sense sometimes.
Okay.
We're all locked in this mental prison that says we have to do things a certain way. Okay? One of the biggest things that I hate when I go to see or when I go to an AA meeting or an NA meeting is, first of all, this. Recovery is not a la carte. Yes, it is. You know why? Because not everything in those 12 steps will work for me. Okay? But here's the kicker of that.
To atone to.
Right, but here's the thing. You don't have to use the word God when they say those things. Your higher power is fine enough. Okay? It's not a religious based program. It's a faith based program. And if you have faith in the highest power, according to the founders of the program, say it. If not, don't. Don't be scared to go to different meetings. Don't be scared to check out different avenues. Celebrate Recovery is great. Smart Recovery is great. Masturbators Anonymous is ironically one of the funniest group of peoples that I've ever attended a meeting for. And guess what? They don't even talk about
made meetings for
sex or pornography. What's that?
I said I didn't know they actually made meetings for those. I assumed they had, but obviously when I was going through mine, I didn't know it. Therefore, I didn't seek it out. But I did not know they made meetings. That's awesome.
You'd be surprised at how many people are unaware that those meetings exist. And if you actually go to the website, gumballhead.com, the link is in the bio. You can actually, the very first page up at the top is a resources link. And wherever we've been in the resources that we've collected in those areas, particularly St. Louis, Missouri, apparently New Orleans, Louisiana area, Lafayette, they have direct resources for the areas there. What the?
Oh, no.
He took himself out. He'll be back.
Oh, well.
No,
we wait.
I do want to say, because I know he's got a ton of resources. I do agree with his statement, though. Just because, hi, Gumball, where are you at?
Oh, I might have to let him back in. Hold on. Yep.
Oh, okay. I agree with his statement when he said that just because you go to one meeting, people like to think that one meeting is like every other one.
It's set in stone.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to
It's not.
explore other avenues to understand something. But that
Wait. Sorry. Go ahead. You finish.
okay. But in a man's mind, I think some men. Hi, Gumball. You're here.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hello. Am I here?
Yeah.
You
are here.
You are here.
It's not showing.
It's not showing your face. Is your camera turned on there?
Oh, it says I'm waiting to be let in. Okay. All right. Cool.
Why are you here twice, though?
Yeah, why twice?
Because I'm double pleasure. I don't see me in What? I don't know what happened. And I really don't. But I do want to make a statement. It's simply this. And I was still listening to the website actually, but what I was saying was that the resources of everywhere that we've gone, they're on that website. And we also have nationwide information on there as well. So if you're looking for help in Denver, Colorado, you can find those resources on there based on what we have nationally. And you can also find the resources locally where we've been. And I'm actually updating them right now to show the current, but it's 13 states in 4 months. Our next destination is in Colorado to bring a recovery program to a remote area of the mountains. And my goal is to be there for 4 weeks. So be there for 4 weeks, establish the program, and then blast off again. So
when you go to places like this and do programs like that, how do you set that up? Like, is there like a committee or something you'd go and talk to, or is it just your self project kind of thing?
A lot of times what I do is people will give me a need. They'll send and mention a need to me and say, hey, I'm looking for this type of help in this area. So I start the search for them. A lot of times people will say something to me about a meeting or about a particular type of care that I can't particularly provide for them over the internet. So what I do is I reach out to the connections that I have in those areas, and it's connections of people that I meet along the way. I know a lot of artists, I know a lot of authors, I know a lot of everything. And it's just, if there's a need, I reach out. And if there's nothing they can do for me, then I start reaching out to the people in that area. And I do that via social media and TikTok. You put that area's name in your videos. You guys have seen, I do Lafayette, I do the Northern, I do, and there's always a repost of each of those videos. But I'm reaching out to see if that demographic hits on that or not. If they don't hit on it, then I say, okay, it's a one and done type thing. So that's when we start to determine our path to travel and we hop in the car and go. And when we get there, that's when we start asking for our, donations and stuff like that from the local people. Hey, we're here to do this. Help us out. We don't solicit ourselves. We're not homeless. We're not nomads. We're just traveling to do the best that we can to get the word out about recovery. And it's not recovery, it's domestic violence, which was the first mission that we did when we were here. And we accomplished our goal 10 days here. And I gave us a month. And we hit our goal in 10 days. And it was just $3,000. We made $2,100. And it was just a matter of we're grinding that. And then we did our sticker promo, And this when we do promos like that, but you guys should have gotten your stuff already. You, Jen, Jen is not. I think you did. No, because yours is still being made by the wonderful wife. Yes. So never mind. This is a subject. But that's the thing is we do those things because we want to get that information out there and we want to do it in a fun way. And whether it's moving, traveling, just going on a trip, whatever. I mean, we're always working in the transparency in the background. We're 100% transparent with everything that we do. We can't not be. Our life is on social media, and I've seen too many people ruin their lives for lying behind the scenes. We develop those relationships where we make sure that transparency is there and our friends know exactly what we're doing. Because we have nothing to hide. We're doing it for the greater good of the people out there that can't have access to these things. It's a debt to society that I'll forever take back, So.
And honestly, that's the whole reason we got started with this podcast in general. I technically had started it almost a year ago, right before my accident. And I had started it with the intent of giving moms a place to be able to talk. And then it changed after my accident to open up to anybody and everybody. And that's when I got Jen involved. But it was to be a space where people can come and be able to talk without any judgments. And I actually just saw kind of it play out the way I wanted it to. I saw the fact that I helped someone in a way that they had now felt that it was a safe place to come back and, talk to me about something that was going on. And it was rewarding because we don't make barely anything on the podcast itself or merch, which we're just getting into now, or any of it. And I don't really care to make the money. It'd be an added bonus. Don't get me wrong. My husband would be thrilled. But it's nice to know that, something we are doing, something that, we talk about and say all the time is finally getting
positive feedback
back to us. Yeah, we're getting it back to us. And
good.
It's nice to know
Keep asking for it.
Someone. I mean, that's what we do. And that's...
I think the big thing is like what Gumball does with the link in bio. It's repetitive. If you do it enough,
absolutely,
people remember that, and then they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, da 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 da," and then it's like it's constantly in their face. I mean,
our listeners finally know where that comes from,
right?
And
the original person said it. I usually say the biggest thing to the one who says it. Now they know why you do it.
The biggest thing on that too, real quick, is everybody sells something now. Everybody sells something. So sell stuff that people aren't buying. Sell stuff because they don't know what they need yet. I mean, everybody's addicted to cheap crap from Temu and TikTok shop because if somebody bought a crate and they needed to unload it, so we had 70 of these available, sell them at a shop. Okay. Well, here you go. Go be QVC for me. I got kicked out and I got my account permanently named on TikTok for talking about people going to the damn UPS store and picking up their goods there, which they shouldn't be doing. You know, it makes sense to me as to why that stuff's illegal.
Why shouldn't they go to the UPS store? I don't know.
I'll mention it to you.
Okay, that's fine. I have my own issues with the UPS store, so I just was wondering.
No. But what I'm saying is like we're so addicted to cheap crap. And, you know, we're also in that age right now of don't you have enough crap laying around? I mean, and look at right how many things you throw away and not feel bad about it. Probably 90% of shit. It's gone, just toss it. You know, all their dried up markers or, you know, chew bottles or whatever. You know.
Absolutely. I get that. Okay. Which I and that's why, like, when it comes to making products or anything, I like my things 100%, you know, unique or original, just because it gives people that, oh shit, I don't see that. And like, I know, going back to the main topic at, you know, what this is all for was, you know, it's hard as a female, it's hard to relate to the men in life. And like, I know, for instance, like for me, my husband, it's a constant, I don't want to say battle or struggle either, but like, he'll come back.
He'll come back.
For us, it's like he gets so stressed out with work, and then he doesn't want to bring it home, but inevitably he comes home, and then you know, he's just here, and he doesn't want to take it out on us, so that he doesn't talk about it. And like, my biggest thing to remind him, or at least what I try to, is that he should, even if it's something I don't understand. I don't get what he does. I know he makes gas stations, but that's it. And like,
but that to me is where that to me is where a man's mentality is different than a woman, because
sort of
some men, I'm not going to say all, some men,
no, because some
men just to talk about this, whether you understand this or not. I need to talk about this because I need to get it. I think that that's where that men are we same thing, you know, the pace, the comfort, and then come from something.
No, absolutely. I mean, you're breaking.
Because,
but another.
Yes, that's where past trauma doesn't get with. That's where you have insecurities. That's stress.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the big things I tell them all the time is like, I was like, you can tell me about the stresses at work because I want to hear it. I want to hear about it. I was like, and I get, you know, you grew up in a different time. I was like, where we talked about our feelings. I was like, I want you to, you know, feel comfortable in doing so. But the other thing, touching on, going back on, you know, for us, counseling doesn't work. And it's not that it doesn't work because it doesn't work. You know, it would work if we could go. But he's already so like tied up with work, and not using it as an excuse. Don't get me wrong. Some people have told me that. It's genuinely we rather spend
it could also
hour strengthening our relationship and our bond by doing hobbies that we do together. So, for instance, I don't care to go fishing. I'm not a big fisher. I don't like boats, and you know, it wasn't a thing. I like hunting. I'll hunt. I'm not a big fisher. But I will go fishing with him because that's a hobby he enjoys. We'll do it together, or he'll sit up with me and do crafts.
It's a give and take. 100%. It's a give and take.
And that, to us, that proves more beneficial than if we were to go to that 45-minute session in therapy to talk about it. Yeah, okay, we don't have the professional help, but I've been in therapy since I was 8. Kind of know a little bit about how it works. Not saying diagnosing him or anything.
Oh,
but,
by the way, she plays
I
one
know.
on TV. She just doesn't do it in real life.
Yeah, I'm a brain surgeon. I'll play one. You want me to lobotomy? Um, but like I know the ways to help to it again to an extent. There are things that we're still learning that is different for both of us. Oh no, his phone died. That's what happened.
Oh no.
Yeah, we have things that we're still constantly working on, but we're working on it together. And that's
Right.
what really, what I really enjoy is because it's not so one-sided, because a lot of things can be, and a lot of people get caught up in that.
I
You're the one
agree.
who needs help. You're the one that needs fixing. But it's no, we both suck. We both need fixing. Sorry. That's a lovely face. And I screenshotted it. Man, this is going to be an interesting edit. Can you hear me? Jennifer. Oh, nope. And now it's just me. How wonderful. While I wait for all the others to show back up, I did pull up a document before we started with all of it about some symptoms and some general good information as far as resources and signs and symptoms and overall just good information that I will put in the description for this episode. That way everybody knows where they can go. And let's let her back in.
That was rough.
I don't know what's going on, man.
They
don't want us talking about men's mental health.
They don't want us talking about nothing.
Well, that's true too. But like I was saying, I had just started talking about how before this all started, I pulled up a page that had some really good information on it. That way, when we're done, I will link it into the description.
Okay.
That way everybody kind of has an idea, or just get some answers they can. Just because I have a funny feeling I'm going to be ending this a lot sooner than 15 more minutes, because it's not working out well.
But I mean, with that being said, I think Gumball did touch base on some good subjects. And
absolutely.
I think, from a woman's perspective and our thinking process, yes, it's very different than a man's. But
we have to be open-minded about it.
Right. And on the flip side, men don't need to be so close-minded when it comes to talking about certain things if they want to talk about it, because whether we understand it or not.
Let your partner in.
What?
Oh, sorry. I'm saying you have to let your partner in.
Right.
Let them.
Right.
Get the chance to understand, or at least try to.
100%. Whether they understand it or not, at least open the door and let them in.
Yes.
Because it sucks when somebody. Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was going to probably say the same thing you were about to say, which is when you don't let us in and you don't give us that opportunity, we feel as though we are being pushed away and sidelined. And then a lot of other insecurities that we may have in our lives start coming up. And it's not fun.
100%. And it's not nice leaving somebody outside the door. Nobody wants to be left outside in the rain.
Well, no, but true. And I know this is not us females attacking you men. I have that problem too. I do not talk to my problems with my husband because I feel like mine are insignificant compared to his. I'm learning recently that's not true, and everybody needs to talk about it.
Right.
So I think as a whole, as humans, we all need to kind of just stop looking at it with the stigma that's surrounding mental illness and start looking at it as how can we do better for those that are in our life? How can we help them feel seen, heard, understood?
Right. And I don't think it just needs
not
right. And I don't think it just needs to be with one person. I think people in general
everyone
need to not be right. I think they need people in general need to not worry about the petty shit. Don't worry about trying to get somebody back. Don't worry about somebody cursing your name. Don't worry about
who doesn't like you and who's not a part of your friend group.
When you look at life, if you're going to proceed forward and you're concerned about your mental health and making sure that you're good to go and you're moving forward in life, and I always say it, and I feel like I repeat myself a lot, if it does not serve you a higher purpose, why do it? If it's not for the greater good, why do it? Why waste your energy and time when you can take that energy and time and put it into something that is going to benefit you more than that negative thing?
Absolutely.
Ken!
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Welcome to too.
Oh.
You're just in time. So, but no, absolutely.
Hey,
You know,
I've been trying to get in here for a while.
yeah, there's been issues with this. And there he goes.
Just get Ken out.
All who are watching and listening, I hope you enjoyed this. It was not supposed to be comedic.
It wasn't supposed to be this way, but I'm glad. Oh, hi, Ken.
Oh, I fixed it.
We're having technical difficulties tonight, Mr. Johnson.
You really are. You would think it's fucking the new moon. Which I think is perfect time for us to wrap this up and end it because oh my, good lord, I need a double shot of whiskey. I'm not gonna sing to you. I'm sorry.
I'm a pimp. Ken is a PIMP.
Oh no, I dropped them all. Oh, just call me Willie because this is Wonka. Well, actually, Wonka.
Oh.
I'm gonna keep it as Wonka. Oh. Well, that was rude. That is so rude.
I was going to be like Taste the Rainbow, but that's not Willy Wonka.
Nope. Do you know that Willy Wonka first started with Kit Kats? So there's that. Oh.
Give me a break.
Look at that.
Oh man, I feel like we need to do a like an Instagram chat and get everybody in a box.
That would be fun. Definitely would not get nannered like we do on TikTok. But interesting enough, so Spirit apparently, even though probably you all can't hear us, Spirit definitely did because we got two that are very, very, very fitting. By the way, Gumball wants to make sure that we covered for him, so I think link in bio. Oh, we got it covered. We got it.
Link in bio.
So the first one is Mask, which is hiding true feelings, pretending and delude, gaslighting and personify. And
hey, I know some people that gaslight.
My 8-year-old son.
Your 8-year-old son.
And it's so adorable, but like it's not because like
it is not adorable. You better stop that shit right now. I guarantee you.
No. He'll never hear that. Well, he might if he listens to YouTube, but he won't. No. You're right. It's not. And I tell him that all the time that it's disrespectful. It's rude. You don't do that. But it's cute because he's adorable.
Jen.
But That's only for you two and everyone here.
It is
Not-
very naughty. That is a bad habit. What if he
I
does that to a
know.
woman? What if he does it to somebody and then he ends up in jail? Then what are you gonna do?
Listen.
You're gonna be like, "Oh, that's so cute. You gaslit somebody,
No, that's-
but I'm
no,
sorry you're stuck
no,
in
I'm
jail."
fixing it. Well, yeah, this sucks for you. Get your own bill. No, I'm not saying that I say it's cute to him. No, he knows that it's not. We don't do that. I'm just saying, the first time it happened, it was a little cute, annoying, but cute. It made me mad. But I am correcting it. I'm not that asshole. Anyways, the second card was the Golden Mirror, which is narcissist, love bombing, self-absorbed, one-sided. Tell me that's not two perfectly fitting cards for this episode. Just gonna say it makes sense. They both fell.
I know those all too well.
And I am kind of glad I went with this because I almost didn't go with this deck. Sometimes like, no, I will do it. And
Oh,
I see why.
Ken put his hat on backwards. He's ready for war.
Where do you see any of that? What are you looking at? Because I don't see Ken at all on my screen.
You don't see Ken?
No, I see you. Well,
Ken's
this
in.
has been a Twilight
Ken's
Zone
in
of
here.
Tonight. I'm sorry, Ken. Don't know if you can hear me. Sorry.
Well, Ken can hear you, and I can hear you.
Well, I'm glad you can. I'm so glad. My screen is just not. I will even screenshot it. I will show you that I'm not lying. I don't know why I would lie, but
Oh,
you know,
Jen,
just
you
for-
need. Ken's all like,
I'm gonna have to edit this. This is gonna take a lot of editing. But anyways, on that note, this twilight of an evening has to go to an end because I can't anymore.
Jen's
the hell's
like,
my
I
screen now?
can't.
Uh-oh. Oh, got it. Okay.
And
I
she
forgot what
only
the screen
sees, look, she only sees me and her. But look,
I'm telling you, my screen does not show it.
there's Ken, Jen, and me.
Sorry, Ken. Much love, brother.
Oh,
On
that's
that, you
so
all have a
funny.
wonderful, spooky, great, unmedicated, unrehearsed night. But don't be unprotected. Definitely use protection. Be safe. Wear a seatbelt and a condom. That should be a sticker.
What?
Be safe. Wear a seatbelt and a condom. That. Be safe. Wear a seatbelt and a condom. That should be a sticker. Don't look at me like that. Okay, bye. I'll see you on the other side.